Welcome to Voodoo Whiskey Gaming, and today I would normally be doing, well, whatever the hell kind of video I do on Saturdays, but instead I'm going to be doing that video on Tuesday. I'm just doing that this weekend. I'll go back to my normal schedule after this. Today's video will be my late review of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 on the PlayStation 4. As for story, there is none. The sound design in this game is okay. I mean, we've heard it all before. It's skateboarding noises. There really isn't any voiceover work, or at least none that I heard, so it doesn't really matter there. As for the soundtrack, on the other hand, I hated it. Not because of the songs themselves, but because they didn't really play randomly, and you heard like maybe 4 songs per level, and it just started to get really aggravating and grate on your nerves, and it was just awful, quite frankly. It got painful to hear the songs. As for the controls and gameplay, holy shit, that's where this game just fails. The controls, they barely work, and I do mean that. They are sluggish. They don't respond. Anything you can imagine that is wrong with controls, well, this game pretty much has that going for it. By that I mean, I would press buttons. The only one that seemed to consistently work was the Ollie button. But trick buttons, no, they didn't work like probably 30% of the time, which, yeah, 30%, that's not that terrible, except for when you're trying to do tricks and stuff to continue a combo, and the game just won't frickin' do it. They also had the slam down function, which you pressed either triangle or Y if you're an Xbox One player to utilize. Problem with that is, it's also the grind button, and it led to more than a few headaches. I found that it worked in hitting the ground, but it also landed me on rails sometimes when I didn't want to be landed on rails, and it would land me before I hit the rail sometimes, so it would just completely wreck my combo, or change the entire course of my combo. As for the gameplay type stuff, like any Tony Hawk game, you could choose a pro skater, or you could customize your own, and the customization options, they were kind of boring to me. Some of them tried to be really out there and wacky, and I don't know, they just didn't hit with me. You could then play through the entire game with each and every skater if you wanted to. I personally recommend putting your hand on a table and trying to break your own fingers with a hammer. It's about as much fun. They tried new missions to add into the game, and quite frankly, a lot of them were very samey as the old stuff, and the new ones were poorly thought out, and their execution was even worse. Going along with that, they tried to add specific features for specific missions and levels, and they sucked. There was the super ollie or the double ollie, and they generally bit you on the ass more than they helped you. Like in any old Tony Hawk game, you were able to unlock stat points and use them to upgrade your character's ollie height, their vert height, their manual balance, their grind balance, etc., etc. You get the idea. But unlike any of the old Tony Hawk games, in this game, they didn't mean shit. I upgraded some of my stats all the way, and I didn't balance any better, I didn't go any higher. It was completely pointless to even have them in there. It was as if they had added that feature and then later realized that they didn't need it or didn't want to use it, so it's in there, but it does nothing to actually help you. There's also this completely unnecessary online element to the game that it seems like you're being forced to use. When you select a skate park that you want to go to, you're either dumped into an online free play lobby, or you can choose to have your own private lobby. Either way, you're connecting to the internet, and I don't see why, and I'll explain that in a sec. Once you're in the free play lobby, I don't get why you're there, because there's 5 objectives, and guess what? Any of the other players in the lobby, they cannot help you complete those objectives. Then from there, you can choose a mission. Why they're called missions, I don't really know. Challenges seems to be a better word in my mind. Once you've selected a challenge, you can either choose to do it single player or co-op. But for me, co-op was always grayed out, so I really only had the option to do it single player. I wasn't given an option to invite players from the free play lobby to play it with me. I was just given the option of grayed out co-op or playing it single player. So like I said earlier, I can't really figure out why there is an online component to this game when you don't seem to use it. I also found it really annoying you couldn't swap out your skaters' tricks. You had one set of tricks to use and that was it. So onto the graphics, they were cel shaded and they looked okay. I mean, the pro skaters looked like cartoony versions of themselves. I think that's the best thing I have to say about this game. Onto the shit list for this game. I'm sure anyone that has an internet connection at this point has seen a video or 6 or more of just the glitches going on in this game. I mean, I've seen half a dozen videos of the glitch where you're just randomly launched up into the air while you're ollieing or doing a trick. Now, admittedly, I was never launched straight into the air while playing, but I did happen to get launched to the side on a regular basis. It was as if there was an invisible monster throwing me to the side. It happened to me way too often. It happened to me while I was grinding rails, while I was manualing, while I was landing tricks, while I was in the vert ramp. It just ruined the experience. It ruined my combos, it ruined the game. Well, I say it ruined the game, but I don't think you could really ruin this game. There are also graphical issues, and they seem to revolve around clipping. Items clipping into your skater's body and getting stuck there, clipping through ramps, clipping through the ground, etc., etc. It got old, and it crapped on an already crappy game. To wrap this up, I'll say that I didn't expect Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 to be the greatest game ever made, or to be the greatest Tony Hawk's Pro Skater ever made. But as a once upon a time fan of the franchise, I was truly disappointed in this as a Tony Hawk game, but I was even more disappointed in this game's existence as a gamer. Not simply due to the technical issues, even discounting those, which is painfully difficult to do. This game is crap. It's not a good game. It was poorly thought out, poorly executed. Yes, I know I used that phrase before, but it's true. Even without all the horrible glitches that are making this game worse, it's already a bad game to begin with. So for anyone who hasn't figured out by now, I wouldn't even recommend renting this game. Not even to the most die-hard Tony Hawk franchise fan. I honestly avoid making eye contact with this game. It is that bad. I truly hope the Tony Hawk franchise dies, and hopefully EA will make a new skate game to fill the void. Okay, so to get all nostalgic, why don't you let me know in the comments below what your favorite Tony Hawk game is. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, and if you like what I'm doing in general, subscribe. Have a good one.